Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of The Player and the Fan. Me, David Noel, the player, and you have the ma'am, the Mrs., Miss Quierra Luck.
Yeah, I appear
as the fan.
David gives me space to talk.
Stop it. Here she go. But here we go again. We got another guest. We doing it big over here on The Player and the Fan.
I know. I'm so excited. I am.
Hey, I'm excited about this one too because my man JB, as y'all know him, he number 2 in the program, number 1 in your hearts, Mr. Joel Berry the second. Is that why you wear the number 2? Because you the second?
I did. I lined it up like that.
Oh, okay, I like that. That's nice. I never really caught that until just right now when I said it. But ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Joel Berry the second, man, played in North Carolina from 2014 to 2018. Won the 2017 Redemption Championship and was the MOP, Most Outstanding Player of the Final Four in 2018. He graduated and then went on to play in the G League now, formerly the D League with the South Bay Lakers, and then now is with the Greensboro Swarm. Joel, we definitely appreciate you joining us, man. How you been, brother?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. I've been good, man. Just trying to get through this time, using it wisely. But, yeah, everything's been good.
So when you say using it wisely, what are you doing in this time to if they say, hey, we're going to get back up and play, what are you doing right now to stay in shape, keep your mind focused, or even just getting away from the game, period?
Yeah, I haven't been watching much basketball just because I do a good job of making sure that I'm watching film through the season. So sometimes I just need a break from it. So, but I have been playing 2K. So that's the way to keep myself competitive. I can play online and talk junk to everybody else. So that's my way of staying competitive. And I've been working out and stuff, going over to a little field nearby and doing some sprints and stuff. But it's been majority 2K though.
Okay, if his body ain't in shape, Quierra, his thumbs is. So that's what we got to say.
Exactly.
I don't know why I just had this picture of SpongeBob with Strong. He tried to fake workout. I'm sorry. But we're going to try and do it this time with a little chronological order. Because with Marvin yesterday, we kind of just went everywhere. So
yeah, we jump around on here. It's all right.
It's all good.
So I've had the pleasure. I don't know if you remember me. I know there's been a ton of reporters in your face, but I've had the pleasure to interview you kind of the last 2 or 3 years at Carolina, and you were always to me one of the more stable players, kind of the one that kept the level going. Just talk about your time at Carolina and growing into the leader for the team and being that stability that Coach Williams needed.
Yeah, I think with my position, I think I have to be that way. We're an extension of Coach Williams out on the court, so and that's how I've always been. I've never really showed emotion when I was out on the court. I mean, in a big moment, I might get hyped or something, but staying level-headed is part of my position and what I have to do to help our team. And it's one of the hardest positions, especially in the Carolina program. But yeah, just staying level-headed is something that you have to have to keep the team, because the team relies on you and looks to you for when things get crazy. So I think that's something that, as a point guard in general, you have to have. By leading the team.
So Joe, you talk about Coach Williams or you being an extension, especially in the Carolina program. The point guard is such an important piece. Talk about what Coach Williams taught you over your 4 years at Carolina to make you a better point guard, to make you better just throughout the game period, and also maybe even off the court.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the things that, he never really said anything. It was more of, I just think his presence altogether, it makes you make sure that you're doing what you need to do. After every basket, there's a call that needs to be made. And then he challenged me to be a good player. I mean, my freshman year, he got on me a lot. But once my sophomore year, junior and senior year came, I had a little bit more leeway. But, you know, it was times where if he felt that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, he had no problem with getting on me. And I think that made me challenge myself to be the best that I could be, and not just take advantage of him giving me the green light to do, you know, not what I wanted to do, but, you know, be the player that I am. And so I just wanted to make sure that, you know, that respect was there. The fact that he gave me the green light and the go ahead to do what I can do and be the player that I can be. And that's kind of what made me into the player that I was at Carolina, with him just challenging me to be that player for him.
Now, Joel, you were there during Carolina. For me, and even Coach Williams said, one of his toughest years, because he was dealing with the academic scandal. And, you know, whenever we spoke in October after you guys won the championship, and you said that, you know, when you were just emotional and you cried, and because, you know, you guys were cleared. Just talk about during that time what it was like for you to experience something that would have been hard for a player to kind of just experience, just the negative talk. And, you know, are you going to leave Carolina? I remember you saying that, you know, people around you were asking, were you going to leave? And, you know, what made you stay with a program that was going through all of this negativity?
Yeah. So the one thing that I had full respect for Coach Williams, and I always trusted what he said. And before I got there, you know, that was a lot of schools were using that when they were recruiting me, saying that, you know, Carolina, because I let people know that Carolina was my number one choice. Mm-hmm. And so people started using that against me. And so when I finally made my decision, I got a lot of people started, you know, getting on me about it and saying stuff. But I told them that, you know, Coach Williams reassured all of us, you know, me, Theo, and Justin, that, you know, everything was going to be fine and that we weren't a part of it. And you have to look at it. You know, when you think about Carolina, you think about the basketball program. You don't think about any other sport. And that's just how it is. And so, of course, they're going to throw Coach Williams' face on there. I mean, he's the guy on campus. So I understood that. And like I said, he reassured me. And once we won that championship, it was like it was kind of like we could just slap people in the face and say, look, y'all sitting there using the scandal and stuff, and look what we just taking care of business. And that's how we went about it, and we let our play and what we were doing on the court do the talking for us.
So to piggyback off of that, Joey, as you just stated, when you guys won the 2017 national championship, I put out a post like that. I want to say that next morning, and I saluted y'all, and I told y'all thank y'all, because you just restored an image of Carolina basketball that had been so tarnished throughout this academic scandal. And you guys, you just put on your hard hat, you went to work, and it paid off for you guys. And in turn, it paid off for every single player that came before you guys. So I told you guys thank you then, and I'm telling you thank you again. But to kind of piggyback off of that, I told Quierra when she hit me this season, when Coach Williams put out, you know, this is the least talented team that he's played on. I told her, what you're seeing now is the effect of the academic scandal. Mm-hmm. So you guys held us in the road for 4 years. You had Luke, you had Justin, you had Theo, and then Luke, and then we got lucky with Kenny. And Kenny, I'm getting ready to name Kenny.
You know I'm his
name. Yeah. Right? Hey. She is the Kenny fan, baby.
Right. Everybody
getting ready to name Kenny. And Kenny Williams. Can't get right what's happening. How you being, brother? But like I told Quierra then, like, you guys had held that y'all held us. Y'all held us down when we weren't getting the recruits that we should have been getting, the caliber of talent that we could have been getting during that time. And then you mix Luke's class, Kenny's class, Cam's class, with the class of one and dones. And now all of that is gone. So now I was telling them, you see the effects of the academic scandal, even though you guys were able to kind of hold us in the road for so long. This year we saw the effects of that. Can you speak to what you thought when you watched Carolina play this year? Yeah,
I think the academic scandal, is a little part of it. But if you want my honest opinion, I think basketball is getting to a point where you have all these recruits. They want to go places where they're not challenged, where they feel like they can just go in and just do whatever they want to do. And that's why Carolina is kind of, when the story about Nasir and Coach Williams getting into it about him not getting a lot of playing time and everybody had him, a lottery pick, I think everybody looked at Carolina like, okay, if you're a top player and you go into this program, Coach Williams, he's gonna. It's basically you're not gonna be able to go in there and just do whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. Like as you know, Coach Williams doesn't have favorites, and when you go in, right, it doesn't matter if you're a 5-star or a 1-star recruit. Everybody's on the same playing level, and you have to fight for what you want. And I think that it kind of hurt Carolina, the fact that, that came out. And so people looked at it as Coach Williams, also he wants people to stay 4 years. And I just think everybody has all these different kind of opinions that are just wrong about Coach Williams. And I think that is affecting the program a lot. And I think one of them has to be that, people just don't want to compete no more. They just want to go to these schools and to where they don't have to fight for a spot and it's just given to them.
That was a word. That's a sermon, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, that was a sermon.
Thank you.
So so what are some of your good memories of being at Carolina outside of course, redemption? First of all, let me tell you. So I was there, right? And it's hard trying to be media and a fan because, of course, on Media Row, you can't show like any emotion. So like before you guys won, I had to walk out the last minute 30. I was not in the arena at all. Like I couldn't handle it because I just knew Gonzaga was going to come back. Anyway, so just outside of winning that championship in 2017, what are some of your best memories at Carolina?
I just think it's how we of course it's the basketball side of it, but I think we brought like just a good vibe around the whole program. Like, we were doing what we needed to do on the court, but we were doing it in our own way. We were dancing all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, as we got videos of David with us dancing in the locker room. Every time you go into the locker room, it was either me or Theo dancing. We were just always joking around, but when we got on the court, we handled our business. But it was just a way that we got the fans to be able to interact with us. Like we really felt like we had a rapport with our fans, and I think that's what was most important to me. Was how our fans were able to see how we were as people and not just as players. Like they saw it, like I said, dancing, they laughing. Coach Williams started listening to music on the bus. Like we brought our own culture to the program and we were able to not necessarily change it, but we just did it how we wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. And it was just fun being able to do it that way and just bring a different type of, culture to Carolina basketball.
Hold on real quick, Dave.
Because they got soft.
To kind of extend on that, so I put on social media, if you guys have any questions about, or for Joel, just let me know and I'll try to integrate it into the interview. Every fan that answered was like, he is my favorite Tar Heel. Like there isn't a question without mentioning how loved you are within this program. I have a slew of pictures from fans that are just like, that's my favorite. Ask him how he's doing. How's Mary like? When are we getting some little berries? So one of the questions that I want to ask is, your connection to fans. How have you seen that grow since being, removed from Carolina, and just how important was it for you to kind of build something that was longer than 4 years with the connection with fans?
Yeah, that was something that my dad had taught me in high school, was just to make everybody your fan, regardless of what the team is. And that's just what I want to do. I mean, basketball is something that can bring everybody together, but I think the fans, a lot of times, they just see what we do on the court, and they don't necessarily get a chance to see how we are off the court. And so I try to give the fans a little bit of, how I am. And that's why I was never scared to post like my real self on social media, because I wanted people to see how I am. And I think that gives people a little bit of, it gives them more of a connection to you as a person than them just seeing what you do on the court. So that's why I just try to align my life with just with my goals and values. And I just keep it real with everybody. I never try to, change who I am to get people to like me. I just stay who I am. And I think that's why a lot of people like me as a player and as a person, is because I keep it true. And I stay to myself. So.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So to piggyback off of what Quierra said, now we fast forwarded to now, really. You went off. You were in the G League, and you were way out in LA playing with the South Bay Lakers, and now you're back in Greensboro. Tell me how that experience has been, coming back to North Carolina, being able to play so close to Chapel Hill, and even for Tar Heel in Joe Wolf. I know you had an injury, so speak to that a little bit as well. And then, just kind of tell us where you are now.
Yes. So in South Bay, my first year, I ended up tearing my meniscus and fracturing my tibia. And so I fully recovered from that. It was, the physical side was easy to get back from, but it was the mental side, which a lot of people don't understand. And it's hard to come back from an injury, especially in this type of business. But I was able to make it back and found my way to Greensboro. Didn't start off the season too well, but things started turning around. Some people started to end up being moved to different teams, and people getting called up and stuff. And so I got a chance to, have my opportunity to show what I can do and that I'm healthy again. But just being back in Greensboro, man, you just see all the fans, and people really, really came out and showed support. And that's why I say, you play at Carolina, but it just doesn't stop there. You have fans all over the place. And that's what I was telling people. And they joke around, and they're like, man, I swear everywhere we go, it's always a Carolina fan. And I was like, yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, it's all over the world. It's not just once you leave Carolina, it doesn't stop. And it keeps going. And that's what's so great about it. But I'm healthy now. I'm showing people what I can do. And I just hope that, I'll do what I can do to make people take notice. But I'm just glad to be back 100% healthy.
So my question is, if you could make the case for why the 2017 championship team is the best championship team to ever hit Carolina. Because everybody talks about 05, everybody talks about 09, but 2017 was something different. Like it was just different. If you can make the case right now and argue Dave down why your team was better, what would you say?
I already told you why it was different. See, there's no need. I already told you why it was different. It's because we were struggling at the time, and we still got a chip when everybody thought that we was locked and loaded and ready to commit some sides or something. Everybody thought we were just going to be like, you know what? Bump it.
I know he took over the whole question.
I sure did. Because it's not an argument.
You need to talk him right now.
Okay, you're right. Go ahead. Go on, answer, Joel. I want to hear what you got to say. Defend your chip.
I mean, you got the right to defend your chip, too.
Oh, absolutely. I know.
But I think, I don't know, man. I think I mean, we could score the ball at will. We had a lot of scores, and I think we were just one of the talented championship teams in Carolina history. I think we had more. I think we had more talent than 09.
What? Joe, don't get on here, don't get on here, Captain.
We had.
I'm gonna use
David, David, we had a lot of talent. We was deep, and the thing is, we had everybody who knew their role. We had different people. Like we had hybrids. Theo was a hybrid.
I agree with that.
And once he came in, like people just didn't know how to guard us, and I think it would have been like that, for any other team. It was just hard to guard us. When you got a hybrid on your team like Theo and he come off the bench, you don't know what to do.
So here's my point. I'm not gonna argue about which team is better because that ain't no argument. But I will say this: when you say y'all could score at will, I'm gonna question that a little bit because outside of the starting five, and then of course you bringing Theo off of the bench, so it was you starting at the 1. Justin Jackson, Isaiah, Kennedy, and you started Kenny.
Yeah, we had to. No, we didn't start Kenny.
Yeah.
Who started on that? Who started on that chip?
Luke, Justin.
No, Luke didn't. Was it Luke?
It was.
I think Theo. No, Theo ended up starting that game. Or
yeah.
End of the year, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now y'all ain't got no bench. Y'all ain't had no bench at all.
We had a solid bench. We had Nate Britt. We had Tony Bradley.
I forgot about Tony. I did forget about Tony.
We had Tony.
You had Nate. Can't get right. And Tony. That's it. That's all y'all had coming off
But see, the thing is, we were able to play. So whenever our guys off the bench came on, we were able to – we had so many pieces to where the guys who were – like me, Justin, Theo starting, we were able to sometimes be able to conserve our energy. So when our bench did come in, we knew the ball was going to be in our hands, so we can do what we can do. Okay. Like, we just had so many pieces, and then the people coming off the bench were solid.
So I'm gonna let that go just cause. But I'm a piggyback off of that, and because I really want your real answer on this, and this is something that I myself have maybe been critical of North Carolina about. And I'll ask you this, and then I want you to kind of just elaborate on it. Do you feel like you got better at the University of North Carolina? Your game, do you feel like you got better at the University of North Carolina?
I know exactly where you're coming from. But me personally, I feel like I got better. And
okay, and when you say you got better, forgive me for interrupting because I want to the point there's a point to it, but when you say you got better, in what ways did you get better? And I'm not talking about you just getting in the gym. In what ways did you get better?
Are you talking about like as a young man, as a
No. I'm talking about strictly on the court.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like really the reason why I got better was because of I took the initiative to in the summertime to go against Raymond. He was a big part of my development. And then Kendall, it was around the time Kendall was starting to come back quite a bit. And he helped out a lot. Like I would get in the gym with him and we'll play one-on-one. That's when he was still playing a little bit. Right. But I know where you're coming from because me and Theo talk about this all the time, that the thing Carolina needed to get better at is player development.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I will criticize that, and I don't have no problem with it because I gave my all to Carolina, and I feel like I have the right to be able to, give my thoughts about it and opinions.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like, if you look at these other programs, they kind of have, former players that have played for Carolina. And nothing wrong with our assistant coaches, don't get me wrong. But I think that with some of these programs having former players who were, played and they understand, what it needs to take, and they come back and they develop their players throughout the summer. And so I've always said that we could get better as a program in that way. So
and that's the one thing that I have been very critical about, and me and Kendall, we talk about it more so all the time. I've always said Joel Berry didn't get better at North Carolina. He got more comfortable. Right. He got more comfortable each year. And that's the same with Theo. That's the same with Justin. Like, you guys just got more comfortable. And that's normal. Like, from your freshman year, you kind of starstruck. You don't know what to expect. Sophomore year, okay, I know what it's like to play in Cameron now. I know what it's like to play on the road at Rupp. So my confidence level just rises a little bit. And now by your senior year, you like, shit, I ain't got nothing to lose. Let's go out here and get it. You see what I'm saying? So it's not that you got better. It's just more so you got more comfortable in your role. Because everything that you did at the University of North Carolina your senior year, I saw you when you came in. You could do that your freshman year. It was just you got more comfortable in your role. And so I've been very critical about the development, but because you got guys, again, guys that just transferred out.
Brandon.
Not
Jeremiah Francis.
Not Jeremiah. Who you say? Brandon Huffman. Like, a guy like Brandon Huffman can't be the same guy as his freshman year as he is his senior year.
I'll tell you,
there's just no way.
You can't teach IQ though.
I agree with that. But you can teach if Brandon Huffman is good at blocking shots and running the floor. Okay, your freshman year, block shots and run the floor. Now, your sophomore year, we got to add a little something to that. Now, your sophomore year, you might have a jump hook. We could throw it to you when you run the floor and you can finish with a jump hook versus just trying to dunk everything. So that's what I mean by the development. Like, Brandon Huffman literally could run the floor and block shots his freshman year, and that's all he could do now. You see what I'm saying? So
I want to say something, but I don't never want to bash anybody. So we'll talk about this off the camera.
But I told you, bro, we don't hold no punches on here, because my thing is, again, and like Quierra tell you, like, I went at Kenny on here, I went at everybody on here, and it's more so because, like, I don't. It's more so out of respect for the program, and I see you guys all the time. So
yeah,
like, if you really got something to say to me, we can talk about it. And again, it's my opinion, and plus, this is our show, so I'm gonna say whatever I want to say.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
From a coach's perspective too, because you've been coaching a lot lately, and I think you see things in a completely different aspect. So you are removed personally whenever you give your criticism. It's not coming from a bad place.
Right. It's not. It is coming from more of a coach's perspective now. We even talked about changing this thing from the coach to the from player and the fan to coach and the fan. Ain't got the same ring to it though. So, but
no, I can tell you, I can speak from it because I played with Huffman my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, if he anywhere in the art,
yeah.
I mean, that's his world, and he can do whatever he want to do. But the game isn't always played in there.
I agree.
And so we almost, if you can't understand the plays, and this is why I say IQ can't be taught. If you go through 3 years of Carolina basketball and you still don't know the plays by your third year,
right,
how can coach play you?
I completely agree with that.
Because we like I said, he could, like you said, he can run the floor and he can jump. But the thing is, if you don't know where to be in your plays and where to go, then it's hard for you to play in any program.
Absolutely, in any program. So I completely agree with you, and I'm not putting this 100% on the coaches at Carolina for the lack of development, because I'm a product of that. But what I am saying is, if you have a guy like Brandon Huffman and he can't learn the plays, you take him in the gym and you make him walk through the plays by himself. Ain't no coach got to be in there. Like, make him walk through the plays. If you think it's worth developing him, if you think, and again, I disagree a little bit on basketball IQ can't be taught, just simply because, again, the more comfortable he gets with the reps, If he continues to rep it, then naturally it'll become second nature. And now he knows exactly where to be. And now it looks like basketball IQ versus it's just him repping it. So, and now, so like I said, I won't put it 100% on the coaches, but I am going about 80-20, because on the coaches too, you knew a player was dumb when you brought him in. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You recruited them.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's on you.
Yeah.
So that 80-20 is going coaches, 80, 20 players. But yeah, like I appreciate that, because we've had this conversation before, and we might even try and get Kendall on here too, because he likes to try to defend the whole player development piece at Carolina, and we got to talk about that.
Yeah, we definitely, because I mean, it's definitely something that has to change for sure.
Absolutely.
I don't forgot my question. It was on the tip of my tongue. Oh, I know. So keeping in line with the conversation. So what do you think about the incoming recruits? If you even, have any idea of who's coming in, are you excited about this upcoming year? It's kind of like we see what and it's funny because what Dave has been like pinning in my brain as far as, the right players being at Carolina, this recruiting class to me resembles a normal Carolina product. So just what do you think about this incoming class, and what are you expecting this year? And I have one question about Coach Williams, but I'll hold off on that. But yeah.
I just think everybody can agree that it was just an odd year. It was really odd. Like it was hard for me to pay attention to Carolina basketball, because I mean, I know they were going through it, but
Dave, shut up, Dave.
I was going through it too.
Absolutely. But every Carolina player was going through that mess, man.
and it's hard because you know what. First of all, how Coach Williams is as a coach. Mm-hmm. And you know that Carolina basketball, we don't have too many years like that. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I was looking at it, we had transfers, and I'm like, I don't even remember the last time Carolina had a transfer.
Right. A grad transfer, yeah. We had two of them. We had three of them.
Three of them. So it's just like it was an odd year, but I hope that I've been paying a little attention to the class that's coming in. I don't know much about them, but I mean, what is it like? They have 4 McDonald's All-Americans?
Mm-hmm.
They got 3 McDonald's All-Americans. They got Caleb Love, Kelsey Walker, and Day'Ron Sharp. All 3 are 5 stars, and then they got R.J. Davis. He's a combo guard. He'll probably play more point. He's a 4-star. You got Puff Johnson, who is Cam's brother. Should be a shooter. You got Creighton Lebo. He'll be a walk-on, and then we just picked up Kerwin. What's Kerwin's last name?
And R.J. Davis is a McDonald's All-American as well, so it's 4.
Oh, okay. So okay.
RJ, Walker, and Caleb are all Gatorade Players of the Year. RJ Davis is Mr. Basketball of New York. Every high title in New York you can get for basketball, RJ Davis got it. So I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah, and that sounds like Carolina basketball. Mm-hmm. I think honestly. I think me, Theo, and Justin were the last McDonald's All-Americans that Carolina got, I think.
Kobe White and Nasir Little.
But I mean, talking about like in one class almost. Having
Kobe and Nasir were both McDonald's All-Americans in one class.
Okay, all right. So they had 2. So that's what we're used to. We're used to kind of having,
right, guys
coming in a big class, not just. Like Cole Anthony came in by himself this year.
Yeah.
And so that's getting back to what Carolina is used to seeing.
Absolutely.
And so hopefully, I mean, it's just life, and it's basketball. You got to have some down years to be able to have, the good years. So hopefully we'll get back to what we're used to seeing. But like I said, man, it was just weird seeing this year. And it just gives me hope to know that, we have some good talent coming in and something that Coach Williams can work with what we already have there.
Absolutely.
Are you hold on, Dave, 2 seconds. So this year, a lot of people criticize Coach Williams. You brought this up earlier, David, about, him saying that this is the least talented team he's ever had. He kind of aged here, and it's like he was just almost, whenever I was in the room, you could see like he was kind of just defeated whenever they lost because he didn't know how to explain, these losses. So what have you seen change with Coach Williams this year? I'm not sure if you've had any contact or anything, but I don't know if you've seen any growth or just has he morphed into a different coach now?
I don't know. I know Coach Williams, he gets a lot of criticized. He gets criticized a lot for not changing the culture that he's used to. A lot of these coaches are, trying to change their style to be able to relate to the players. Mm-hmm. And I think he gets he gets criticized about that a lot. But I knew, because when I went back from my jersey ceremony, I just walked in and I could just tell him and the assistant coaches, they were just frustrated. Mm-hmm. And I think he put out a statement that, it wasn't the fact that they were, losing a lot. It was the guys weren't playing hard. And that's something that he was saying, I don't care if we're losing or winning or whatever. As long as we're playing hard and giving effort, that's all that matters to me. And I think it's just the way that, that they were losing. They were just – it's like they weren't giving any effort. And I think that was just the biggest thing this year is and, like, don't get me wrong, the talent wasn't there either. But I think the biggest thing for him was just that, the fact that they knew they didn't have talent. Well, now you have to find something to rely on. And the fact that they weren't playing hard each and every game was what bothered him a lot.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That was the unfortunate piece for me. Like, I again, you can not be talented, but you can't not play hard, especially when you got on a Carolina jersey, man. So, like, that was the piece for me. And like Coach Williams said, that Coach Smith said, he said it's good that Carolina has a losing season or a down season every 10 years or something like that, so it can remind the people of the good times. But I'm going to tell you, we can't have one like this again.
Yeah, no,
like
we cannot.
This one here, and matter of fact, this coincides with 2020 all together anyway, because it's just been messed up. The whole year been messed up. So this makes sense that we're going through what we're going through now, because Carolina basketball ain't where it needs to be. And next year is going to be very prosperous for everybody. Not only Carolina basketball, but Joel, you're going to be in the NBA or get a big check overseas somewhere. I'm going to be head coaching somewhere. That's how we're going to do it in 2021, baby. We're going to go ahead and speak that thing into existence. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. I got you. Yes, sir.
Last question for me. Joel, best Duke game you've experienced. Which one is like the highlight of your career?
Oh, man. I don't know. I know I'll probably say my senior year.
At Carolina.
Yeah, that one was crazy. And I think the reason why it was crazy, because if you look, just looking at the roster alone, they were supposed to blow us out.
Blow y'all.
They had so much talent from top to bottom. It was crazy.
Bro, it rubbed me. I don't mean to cut y'all, but it rubbed me because we should have swept them bums.
We should have.
Y'all should have beat them. Y'all played so great in the first half at Cameron, bro. And then y'all turned around and just, I don't know, y'all went in the locker room and just was like, you know what, bump it. They got it. I said, bro, what the heck? Y'all came out that second half, Marvin Bagley out there acting like his daddy from Durham. I said, got to be more careful, man. I said, man, this thing here, bro, I was so ready to jump on IG and get at these bums, man, bro. Right. But, and then we got them in the ACC tournament. And normally I don't even talk about the ACC tournament, especially when Duke and Carolina play, just because it's so, like, to me, it's just rigged. But they was at my head so much about that Cameron joint. When we got them in the ACC tournament, I was like, all right, I'm going to go.
Right,
so
right.
I had to say something about it.
Yeah, no, man. That game right there was crazy. I mean, Theo was the X factor too. I mean, he had to guard Marvin, which was, I mean, he did a great job too. But that game right there was, I mean, it capped off my senior year. I mean, that it was special the way the crowd was into it. And you know when they get rocking in the Dean Dome, I mean, it felt like the whole building shaking.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Theo threw down that dunk.
Special moment.
Yeah, he threw down that dunk and it went crazy.
Yeah, buddy. So, all right, last one for me, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So what was your most special moment about the 2017 national championship for you personally? And because I know the year before you go and you lose on a buzzer beater, and then just for you personally to come back and go on that run to, again, what we're calling this year as the redemption, or from here on out as the redemption championship. What did it mean to you personally to be able to get that done?
Yeah, it meant a lot to me. That was something that, other than getting my jersey up in the rafters, that was something that I told myself when I got to Carolina that I wanted to accomplish. And we were able to do that. And I thought we were going to do it our sophomore year. And I guess it just wasn't our time. And we came back, and people don't know how hard it is to make two national championships back to back. It's tough. The amount of mental that has to go into it, and being ready for, having to come and play every night. I mean, it's tough. And just at the end of the game, all I could do was just cry because of, I mean, for me, like you said, personally, I was battling ankle injuries. It was times where we were going from game to game, and I literally couldn't get up out of the bed and walk because my ankles were bothering me so bad. And, thanks to medicine. And actually, we were in South Carolina, and I had to drive to Charlotte just to meet with a chiropractor to be able to play the next game. And so I was just on a different schedule than everybody else. I mean, staying up late, working with Doug, working with Jonas. And that whole tournament time, I barely got any sleep. And just by the end of the time, I just let all my emotions go. And that's why it just meant so much to me to be able to, the way that I sacrificed myself and put my team in. It was just something that I wanted to do because I knew we had the talent to be able to do it. And just being able to get back and win it, I mean, it was special. And just the way we did it. So just when I got the ball and ran over and yelled at the crowd and coach kind of called a timeout, I started crying in, and the game wasn't even over with. But it was just like we got back to where we wanted, and we're 3 seconds away from winning it. And it was just something special and something that you really can't explain. It's just a feeling that you have to be able to live yourself. But I try to do my best to explain it. But it was a surreal moment for me.
Hold on. So I remember asking you about your ankles. Wait, no, what? I don't know if you remember that question. That's one of my favorite questions because it made y'all laugh because I literally asked you. You literally put the team on your ankles. Like, talk about the sacrifice. You're not only sacrificing. I don't know. You're sacrificing your body for a team win. It's something bigger than yourself. So, just hint on the sacrifices of team basketball and the sacrifices to win.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. And sometimes you got to give up. Sometimes you do have to give up for what you want and who you are to help the team. And sometimes there's a lot of people that can't do that. But like I said, we had all the talent in the world. And if I went into it thinking that I was the best one on the team and that I needed to have the ball in my hand. And I was getting upset that I wasn't. We wouldn't have made it back because, like I said, I had Justin to the left of me. I had Theo to the right of me. I had Isaiah and I had Kennedy. I mean, that's talent all over the place. And if I didn't sacrifice a piece of what I wanted to do, we wouldn't have gelled as a team. And in the moment of in the tournament, when I twisted my ankle in the Kentucky game, I was so close to just calling it. I laid there and I realized what had happened. And it was actually my other ankle. And I was just like, I think this is it. And when I got up and walked back to the locker room, I was about to just tell the coaches and tell the trainer, tell Doug that I was just gonna call it and not play. But then something just hit me, and I got up and started running again, and I felt fine. And I was just like, you know what, I just can't give up on my teammates like that. And that was just a turning moment for me, and just being able to sacrifice my pain and what I was going through to help the team to know that we could get back to that point of where we wanted to be.
This is what we bring you, ladies and gentlemen. We bring you the inside scoop here on the Quierra and the Fan. I never knew all of this. And I'm sure
on his
y'all didn't either.
Look, Williams was
so
working.
We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, oh yeah, no problem. I don't say much, but it's something that I keep to myself. I never want to boast about myself. All glory to God, but
absolutely. Yay,
I know, right?
But I did sacrifice a little bit, so.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, man, we definitely appreciate you for coming on, man. Again, I told you 30 minutes, and we always run a little bit over. Yeah. It's just always good talking about Carolina basketball and having family on, man. So we definitely appreciate your time. And again, man, this is what we bring y'all, man, on the Quierra and the Fan. We bring you the exclusive. If you didn't know, now you know, because you're listening to our podcast. Talk to him, Quierra. Tell him something.
I can't. I just love your enthusiasm, and it just makes me happy in my heart. I love to see it, David.
This is what we do.
And genuine with your Southern Durham shirt on.
Absolutely. I gotta rock my Southern gear. All my boys over there in the Bull City know how we get down. I was trying to get some of y'all jokers to come to a game. Ain't none of y'all come to a game though. We gotta talk about that too. Yeah.
Who you talking about, Quierra, not me?
No, I'm talking about all y'all, everybody in Carolina, coaching staff included. I can use a recruiting day to come watch your boy when he was coaching. It's all good though, but man. Again, we definitely appreciate you. Enjoy the family, man. Stay safe in this time. And again, it's a wrap. Yours.
Yes, sir. Y'all stay safe too.
Of course.
Appreciate you, brother.
All righty.